Good morning. This is Jacqueline Richardson, Miss JJ Diamond, Jackie Deja, whatever y'all call me. I hope everyone had a wonderful evening last night. And I hope that everyone is fine this morning. My allergies are not too bad. Let me tell y'all what happened to me yesterday. Before I get into this podcast, yesterday I went and got me some real eucalyptus. It's really hard to find here in Charlotte. And I work at Amazon in a warehouse. I get real stuffy. The cardboard gets all up in my head, and I guess I'm allergic to it. I guess everybody would be. The cardboard flying, dust flying, and I kept getting sick. I got sick Sunday, and I kept saying, I hope I don't have the COVID. I went 3 years without getting the COVID, and now I get the COVID. I just felt so bad. And then I said maybe I had the flu. I was like, I don't know what's wrong. But then after a while, I felt better. I was back at it again. That's what sinuses and allergies do to you, you know. And I was saying to myself, like, okay, I must have had a sinus attack. I mean, of course, y'all know I make my products with eucalyptus, you know, the oils. But once it's extracted, and this is what I wanted to try to explain to you guys, once it's extracted, the oils are extracted, it loses potency, okay? And then people cut it. And I had to explain this to some people yesterday because, you know, I was hitting the pavement yesterday. Because online moves too slow for me, and I'm trying to save people, so we have to hit the pavement. This is what we do. Anyway, I use the product, like I said, every day, and I make the products for people every day. And myself, because I'm my biggest customer, I'm going to be honest with you. However, like I said, it loses potency after a certain amount of time. And now that my body is used to, because your body gets used to everything. This is the thing that we don't understand about our bodies. When we overdo something, and it's not that I've been overdoing it, I've been using it for years and years and years. Your body eventually rejects it. It doesn't work anymore until you get a higher dosage, and that's the same with medicine. However, I took my eucalyptus bath, and did my normal thing. I felt a little better, but it just wasn't 100%. And I said to myself, I said, you know what? I need to go get the plant. I got to go get the plant. I can't do this no more. I'm feeling sick. So I went, shopping yesterday, and I got me some eucalyptus plant. Well, I forgot what it felt like because I haven't had it in so long. For those that know me, especially in Maryland, I've always kept eucalyptus plants in my home. The reason being is because of my allergies. And they can tell you that. However, so I get this eucalyptus plant, and immediately, I would have thought I took an antibiotic, y'all. My face was on pound. And that's what happens when I take the antibiotics. My face get on pound, start banging, boof, 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 because it's trying to move. The inflammation is attacking it. The eucalyptus is attacking the inflammation and the whatever bacteria is in there. So my face started throbbing. So I'm like, oh my God, I can't take it. And I'm outside. But I know I need it because I feel like crap, So I took a Tylenol to soothe the pain. I said, okay, I got to get rid of the pain, at least the pain. I shouldn't have smelt it and sniffed it until I got home. But, I needed to feel better. I just needed to feel better. So I said, I got to take this whiff. And, I put my nose in there, real quick, and I said, okay. And I felt it moving, took the Tylenol, went and ate something and came home, and I was back at it. Well, once I got back at it, it was like God was running me around. I was just running. I said, okay, I needed that, I would rather take stuff that's natural over things that's man-made or stuff that can break down your immune system, So this is why I personally go natural and do things the natural way. So that way I won't be taking all these antibiotics, because what would have happened was I would have been in urgent care probably by the end of the week, requesting some antibiotics because I was sick, and I said, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that this week. I said, I can't afford it, because the antibiotics, it takes you through a whole nother set of side effects, where the eucalyptus was just pain in my face from the inflammation trying to break down. And if I take the antibiotics, then now I got to deal with diarrhea. I can't eat. My stomach hurt. I got to go through all these other things. But, sometimes we have to deal with those things in order to get better. But if I don't have to take that route, I won't take that route. And it's a choice. Just like I was talking to people yesterday. I was out and about in Charlotte and talking to a lot of people regarding natural oils, pure natural oils, not some of that stuff that y'all see out there. It don't be pure, be cut. I know. I want to break this down to y'all real quick, and I had to break it down to somebody else. Back in the day when I don't know what they say now, because but I know when I used to be out in the block and stuff like that, and people be talking about cocaine, and they talk about raw cocaine, and they talk about cut cocaine, okay, and they would charge more for raw cocaine because they know you can cut it down and make more money off of it. The same with pure natural oils, okay? Every company wants to get the best dollar for what they are selling. That's just what it is in the retail world. So if they can get stuff that they can cut, or stuff that they can break down, they will, and not give you the full benefit. So you would never really know the benefit of what something can do to help you, and that's what is one of the biggest problems here in America, because everybody wants to cut everything down to the bare minimum, and then you don't get your full benefit. Now, I don't like talking about other people's companies, I'm not into that. I just tell you about mine. I give the raw full benefit, and the reason why is because it loses its potency. Okay, so if I give you cut potency of, say, eucalyptus today, by the time you want to use it to help your joints and soothe your body and your mind, the potency is gone. So you're not going to get your benefit. But if you get the full raw benefit, by the time you use it, that benefit will still be there. So yeah, I just want y'all to understand that a little bit. And it's the same with different foods, perfumes, colognes, perfumes are made with a certain alcohol. If I cut the alcohol, you're not going to get the same effect and same smell and be able to wear it all day the way somebody that gives you the full effect of the alcohol in their cologne or perfume. And this is why people charge so much. Okay? You go say to Macy's and buy, my favorite, what is it? Oh Lord. I forgot the name of the cologne. My favorite male cologne. I love the smell mint in it. I forgot the name of it, y'all, but it's expensive. Okay, but I don't want to spend that kind of money. They'd rather go buy a $5 bottle of cologne. And I get it. You can't afford it, so you buy something. However, that $5 bottle of cologne is either going to be too loud or, okay, it's going to be where it wears off fast. So you have the tendency to put more on because you want to smell like it all day. So it's like, okay, well, I put more on, but you actually using more. Your bottle's going to go away faster, and you got to turn around and buy more anyway. Instead of just buying a $40 bottle or $50 bottle, spray 2 squirts, and you good because it's pure. Okay, so that's the difference between raw product and broken down product. Okay, and I want people to understand that. But now I want to get into guns and gun violence. Okay, we want to talk about that. And I'm going to add a little section about Mcfly. He's out of Philly. I've been a fan of Mcfly's for about, I would say, 3 years now. And I've been watching him daily. He does some wonderful videos, guys, trying to break down, because, some people don't understand verbally, based on the way we communicate, and I don't want to say that it's sad that not everyone has the knowledge to break things down so they can understand it a little bit better. So he's the type of person that will give you a video broken down to give you an understanding, because some people do learn visually versus by communication out the mouth. So I applaud him for that. And like I said, I've been watching him for so long. He comes from a Philly background, which I know a Philly background is rough, just like New York backgrounds. He had an addiction issue. He snapped up out of that addiction issue and fought to be the person that he is today. And this is why I continue to watch him, because he has a lot of strength and a lot of power within him. He's big on gun violence, because, in Philly, a lot of the kids get killed, shot, hurt, and he continues to motivate. And I decided to join him on the gun violence. Granted, I've always been on violence, but I never touched base on gun violence and the way we should properly protect ourselves when we own guns and when we have guns. Now, Philly is an open carry state, just like North Carolina. I would assume their laws are pretty much the same. I will do my research on that. I can't give y'all 100%. I do know about the Carolinas, though. And in the Carolinas, our rules in North Carolina is totally different from South Carolina. So when you come here, open carry, because we are open carry state. If you decide you want to go over to South Carolina because it's so close, even if you came to North Carolina and your hotel is in North Carolina, and you decided to go, say, to Carolines, which is on the border of South Carolina and North Carolina, you got to make sure you know the rules if you are carrying. Granted, you can't carry a gun inside Carolines. However, you still need to know the rules. That's one of the biggest problems, people not seeking out the rules of what we need to do to keep ourselves going. Mcfly said something today on he went to visit the Bronx, and for those that know, my mom used to live on Grand Concourse after we moved out of our house on 153rd Street between Cortland and Melrose. My mother moved a couple of places, but then her final destination was the Grand Concourse. And he was on Fordham Road. My mom used to live not even 4 blocks from Fordham Road. And he stood in front of VIM, which was one of the stores that, my kids loved to shop at, we would go get Levi's, sweatsuits, whatever. My son, he liked VIM. And both of my boys, and he was standing in front of VIM. So, kind of made me smile, to see VIM, because the last time we went to visit home, we went to VIM and got a few things. My son bought a all-white Levi suit, and I got mad with him because he lost it. And I'm like, okay, well, we can't he didn't lose the whole outfit. He lost the jacket. And it kind of pissed me off because we went all the way to New York so we can get that white Levi jacket. So, I smiled when I saw Mcfly in front of VIM. I'm like, okay, I see you. My stomping grounds now. Giving them people that knowledge, and I could appreciate that, and like he said, we all global currency, we put work in, we don't wake up and have the power that we have, and that's what people get all misunderstood. We put work in, we go from city to city, we talk to people, we show people, this is what we do. And share the knowledge, okay? Because we don't want no one being without knowledge. We give you the facts of what we've been through so you don't have to go through it, and expect whatever you go through that you will share that knowledge to help someone else, okay? It's all testimonies when God put us through things, We may say, oh, I don't believe this person. Well, I'm going to go do it myself and see what happens. Your story may be a little bit different from my story. However, you're still able to teach the knowledge, okay, of what you experienced. And that's what we do, We are, like he said, all global motivators. This is what we do, and we try to touch bases with as many people as possible, and try to share knowledge and share other people's work, so that way they can pick up more messages, and that's the way it's done. I wanted to talk about, I also wanted to say, I also want to give a clap to applause to B. Mcfly. He sticks by a lot of the black businesses in Philadelphia, and that's a wonderful thing when you see someone really stand by black businesses. That's why I love Charlotte. Charlotte is big on black businesses, Maryland is very big on black businesses. It's a little bit different from North Carolina and Philadelphia. However, they still support black businesses. Black businesses is common in Baltimore. Okay, that's the difference. It's that they're common. Where here in North Carolina, it's not that common. So when you see blacks doing good things, you applaud them. Like yesterday, I gave somebody my business card and was telling them about my products and different things like that. And the first thing, they looked at me and said, congratulations. And I was like, thank you, because they understood. Either they went through what I went through, or they know somebody that went through what I went through to get to the point to where I am. And they wanted to congratulate me. And I was so, thankful to hear that, and be able to say, they understand and thank you, because I've been through a lot, So, yeah, I just want to leave that right there for right now. Now we're going to get into this gun violence. Just because you own a gun doesn't mean that you're violent, okay? You have the rights to protect yourself and protect your family, okay? Granted, people take things the wrong way because they don't have knowledge. And this is why we continue to teach, okay? I'm going to talk about Meek Mill for a minute, since we're talking about Philly. I'm a fan of Meek's, but, I also teach, and he teaches as well. We all stand together and teach as much as we can to get these youth the knowledge that they need to proceed in everyday life. Because the way our parents taught and the parents before us, they failed. Okay, and that's just the facts. They failed. They didn't teach their children all the facts. I run into more and more people every single day that tells me, I never learned that. And I'm looking at them like, I don't like calling people stupid, or not smart enough. Some people just don't seek knowledge. And then they forget that they have children to teach. It's your job to teach your own children. There shouldn't have to be motivators and teachers out here to teach your children. The first lesson is supposed to come from home. Okay? But, our parents, they were so into drugs and doing what they do. They didn't have time to teach their children, but this is where it ends. And we have learned to teach our children and teach other children. I met this couple yesterday. I'm going to tell you about this couple. It was so funny, that I stopped and talked to them. Normally, when I see babies, I stop and talk to people, but I couldn't see the baby because they had the baby all wrapped up, and covered up. And I was like, yeah, they like how I am. I keep my grandson. Y'all know when the COVID happened, I covered him up. I had a plastic over his thing. Now in New York, we would put the plastic on our baby strollers for the rain. When we go out, take the strollers out in the rain with the babies, But I said, I'm getting one of these covers for my baby for this COVID. I said, because he ain't going to catch this thing. So, we got a lot of attention behind that because it was like, well, why she got a plastic over her baby? And I'm like, I don't want him catching the COVID. I don't want nobody breathing in his face. I got to protect him. That's my job. I'm his protector. That's what God set me here for. He may be my grandson, but he's in my care, and I'm here to protect him and teach him why I have him. And teach others as well. So with that being said, I want to get into the rules of getting guns and protecting your family and what you should do and should not do to make sure that your kids stay safe, owning a gun in the home and having and making sure that other kids don't get a hold of your gun and use it and then you're at fault, okay? Or somebody else get hurt. One, before you even think about purchasing a gun, okay, the way to do that is you apply for a gun permit, okay? Just because you've been in jail for something, and it could have been 20 years ago, as long as it wasn't violence and you don't have a mental issue, most likely they would give it to you if you give them a reason why you feel you need it, okay? So don't be discouraged if, you had some legal issues 20, 30 years ago. You was a kid then, you're an adult now. You can still get a gun permit. And once again, as long as it wasn't violent. Okay? Every person should have the right to protect their family. Okay? And protect themselves. Okay? That's number one. That's step one. Step two, the sheriff department likes people to have the knowledge, okay? But it's an option for you to get your concealed, okay? You want to go out and buy a gun and apply for a permit every time you buy a gun, you can do that. Or you can go get the class and get the concealed and learn the laws of owning a gun in their state, okay? Now, when you get this concealed class, they would explain to you the do's and the don'ts, okay? I mean, yeah, you can go out and purchase a gun, but it's also good to know the do's and the don'ts, because then you get caught up and then now you got to sit in front of a judge and say, well, why you didn't do this or why you didn't do that, because, you tell the judge, well, I didn't know the do's or the don'ts. Well, you could have known the do's or the don'ts because you could have went to your concealed class, okay? And it could have told you the concealed class is not just for you to be able to conceal your weapon. Okay, because not everybody wants to walk around with their weapon open. They just want to have it, to, protect themselves. However, if you don't have that conceal, you have to, well, put it like this. You can have the conceal, but if the sheriff department hasn't approved it, you still have to wear your gun where they can see. Open carry. Me, I took my concealed class, but guess what? I lost my certificate. That's why I have to organize. Y'all need a secretary, and I'm going to just be honest with y'all. So I got to look for this thing so I can submit it to the sheriff department, and then I can wear my gun inside my pants and conceal it, or in my purse, or whatever the case may be. Okay? You can't just put, especially in North Carolina, you can't just put your gun in your purse and think it's okay. That's actually a law that they don't like, okay? It's against the law. You have to have the proper paperwork in order to conceal your weapon, okay? Now, when a cop pulls up your information, like if he pull you over and he pulls up, he knows that you already have a gun. Okay? He already knows that because he knows your name. He can pull it up in the computer. That's why you have to do things the proper way. So when he comes and asks you, do you have your gun on you? And you tell him, okay, yes. You know, it's in the glove compartment or it's in the trunk or, because every state is different. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I got to do my research again. If I'm not mistaken, in the state of North Carolina, I gotta remember do my research again. I learned it in class, but I do remember them saying that you can conceal it in the glove compartment when you're out, even if you don't have a concealed. But I'm gonna double check that, guys. So don't quote me on that, because I also heard that it has to be on the seats so they can see it. Okay. But I want to do my research on it again, so don't quote me on it. And y'all can do your research and get back to me, because if I remember correctly, we can put it in the glove compartment. Now, I do remember, and this is a fact, when you're going through the state of South Carolina, before you cross that line in that border line for South Carolina, your gun must be in the back of your vehicle. Okay? So that means you have to stop before you cross that border, get out, take the gun and put it in your trunk. Okay, that is their rules. So these are the things that we have to follow to make sure that we don't get all caught up, okay, with nonsense because we did not have the knowledge. Every state is different. Florida, open carry state. Okay, that's another one. I don't know about Georgia. I got to do my research. Like when I go to Florida, I got to know what I can do from state to state. Okay? Because I got to go through 4 states, okay, when I go to Florida. So, I know when I get into South Carolina, my gun got to be in the trunk. Georgia, I'm not sure. I got to do my research on that. And then we hit Florida, okay? I got to know my research. I got to do my research on that as well. Can I put it in the trunk? Can I have it in the glove compartment? Where can I have this gun located? On the floor? That's another thing I was told. You can also put the gun on the floor between your legs. To me, that's unsafe. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why. Because if for some reason you have an accident or anything can happen when you're driving, okay? And if the gun slides this way, slide that way, get caught on something, it can possibly go off. And that's just what I see. I don't know what other people will see, but that's just what I see. However, I will get the right information on that when you go outside and you're carrying in the state of North Carolina. Because like I said, I forgot. So I got to get it. And when you hear so many people tell you so many things, and that's why you got to go to the source. A lot of us are afraid to deal with the police department and afraid to talk to them about the different laws. But it's your right. You have a choice. Okay? You have the right to know the laws. And you have the right to walk in a police station or call a police station and inquire about certain laws. You have that right. It's a choice. Okay? Just like when you go to school, like when I took the concealed class, and a class is like school, they teach you the laws because that's what you paid for. The same with the police department. You pay taxes. You work every day, you pay taxes. Some of that money goes to the pay of our safety. Okay? And you have the right to stop a cop and say, hey, I want to drive with my, I want to travel with my gun, and I want to know where is the best place to put it. because I'm hearing different things from different people. I want to know from you, the source. And they would tell you. They're not going to say, oh, no, I can't tell you. That's a secret. That's invading your rights of life. Okay? So you don't have to be afraid. Then we have insurance. Okay? We got insurance on everything, y'all. I pay so much insurance bills. It's like, oh, real. I'm so tired of insurance. But, this is what we have to do to protect ourselves. We have insurance that you can get to protect you just in case you make a mistake or you forget. Okay? I believe the name is Legal Shield. Yeah, Legal Shield, just in case you got to protect yourself on the outside. Now, in North Carolina, every state is different. In North Carolina, if someone comes in your home and try to hurt you, and you tell them to leave, and, you're going to call the police, and they choose not to leave, and you have to fire your arm, you are already in the right because they were in your home. But the streets are a little bit different, so that's why you have to know the laws. Now, in Maryland, there's no self-defense laws. So if someone came in your house and you hurt them, you still in the wrong because you committed a violent act, which I feel is wrong. I love Maryland. Don't get me wrong. I love these guys up there, but their rules are so intense that it's scary, okay? Because if someone do come into your home and try to hurt your family, you don't become a victim anymore, especially if you can hurt them and protect yourself. When you have a family, and this is the thing, people don't realize we put families together. We have babies, we have husbands, wives, we put these families together. It comes with a lot. Okay, it's not just you pay your bills and live everyday life. Okay, because we have crazy people out here and people want to do negative things, and it puts you in a mode where you say to yourself, okay, nobody may not ever do it, but if someone was bold enough to walk through your door and try to do something to you, what would you do? If you can't get to your phone fast enough to call the police, and the police have to get to your destination. Okay? So sometimes it takes a while because they be having other calls doing it. They don't sit around, and not here in Charlotte. Okay? These cops work here in Charlotte. Now, in Maryland, some of them sit around because they ain't got nothing to do because ain't too much crime. And I get it. But here in Charlotte, these guys work. They always flying down the road. They got to go over here. It's an accident. Got to go over here. Somebody acting crazy. They got to go over here and do it. It's just crazy. This is what I see on a daily basis. Once in a blue, maybe early morning, I see a cop happy with their coffee. Okay? These cops work. Okay? So, I say that to say, they're going to take time to get to you. It ain't going to be 2.5 minutes. It could be 5-10 minutes. This is why most of the time when we call the ambulance or the police, the fire department will show up before the police will. Because the police stay busy. And the fire department can deter and also help the ill, deter people from what they're doing negatively because they know that the police department is on its way. Just hearing the sirens let people know that, help is on the way. So that would deter someone from hurting someone further or them getting out of Dodge and gone because they know that they are on the way. Okay, so we have to pay attention to things like that, And that's one of the things that I paid attention to when I came to Charlotte, that the fire department always show up first. but they don't have the gun power and the people power. That's not their expertise. Their expertise is to help you in a burning fire, But they choose to help as much as they can because they know how tight things can be in this city. So shout out to the fire department. I love you guys. Y'all always on the scene first, making sure that, people are safe. And I always love you guys. I'm going to try to get y'all, my fire department over here, I want to get them some more snacks because they like snacks. I always see them shopping and give my guys some snacks so they don't have to always go shopping. They can eat their snacks instead of looking for snacks, at the market, because I've seen them walk around the market. They get their dinner so they can cook, and they looking for snacks. What snacks we want? Try to debate. So yeah, I love my guys, and when y'all see them, and this is for Charlotte, North Carolina, y'all shout them out and thank them for their service, and hey, donate some snacks. They like snacks. But for the most part, like I said, they're the first on the scene. And they're here to protect just like anybody else, any other department, the paramedics, the police department. But the police work so hard, like I said, it's kind of hard for them to get on the scene when they really need to be on the scene. And this is why they all stick together. But we also have to be able to protect ourselves too, because in the time that we're waiting for them to come, things can happen. A gunshot, that's 1.1 second. 0.1 second for real. If somebody's hitting you, they can kill you in less than 2.5 minutes by beating you repeatedly. So you got to be able to protect yourself. And you see what these people are doing? I'm watching these I'm sorry, y'all. My stomach is talking. It's hungry. I got to eat. Apologize. We have to learn to protect ourselves as well and protect our families. So you go to the range, practice your shooting, make sure it's still on point. Even when you take your conceal, they take you to the range to make sure that you can shoot properly. Like I said, you can always go practice. And if you have children, make sure you take them to practice, just in case they have to use that firearm in their home and someone come in there and try to harm them and they have to put that gun to use. Okay. Teach them about not allowing their friends to see, hold, or interact with it because it's for the safety of our home. We have to give this knowledge to our children. Make sure you purchase a safe. Okay, safes can be expensive, but they can also be cheap depending on where you get it from. Okay, some people like digital, like I have a digital safe. Some people like combination safes. You make sure you put your gun in a safe place. So that way when people visit your house and you're not in the area or not home, your firearm is safe, okay, from the children. Because, children, the thing with children, and this is the biggest problem, y'all. Children always want to inquire about things. They want to, let me see what this is. Let me see how this works. They get on TikTok and social media, and they see these things, even on TV. They watch these things, and if they know that something in their area is the same, they're going to go try it. They're going to go and investigate it. That's how children is, because they're seeking knowledge. This is why we need to teach them, because they're seeking the knowledge. See, this is the thing. Children seek knowledge for a very long time, and then they stop for some reason when they become an adult. That's another channel of life they have to go in. Now they're starting to seek other knowledge, okay? But then sometimes they just say, I don't even want to learn no more. I'm tired of learning. And this is when we get these kids that just walk around like zombies, don't want to do anything because they're tired of learning. They feel like life is so hard, but they didn't realize if they continue to learn, life gets better. Okay? And it's our job as parents, as individuals, to take time with each and every one of our children. People tell me, say, Jackie, why you have all your kids so far apart? Because I could not, everybody's different. Me as an individual could not be able to be in a house with all these little children, learning their personalities and knowing who they are to teach them and make sure that they understand the proper way. So the way I did things is I had my kids all far apart so that way I can focus directly on that child. Okay? And understand their personality, understand their character, understand how they learn so I can continue to teach that child. Okay? So that's pretty much why I personally, and financial reasons as well, because I like to spoil my kids a little bit. I don't like none of them to lack anything. So if you have 3 and 4 and 5 kids and you want to take them, say, to a play or a concert, and the concert tickets is $150, if you got 3 and 4 of them, that's a lot of money. Or somewhere like Disney on Ice or something like that, it's a lot of money. And I was never one to overdo myself. I was never one to spin out my means. So I have one kid at a time. When that one is at a certain age, then I can start working on another one and teach. Okay? Now, some of my kids may be bad, but they far from stupid. They do snap back. Even if they have to make that call to mama and say, hey, Mom, get me right, because my mind ain't right out here. And I'll get them right. Even if I got to yell and scream, they know I'm going to get them right. This is why they keep calling. Your kids don't stop calling. They always got to consult back with home, especially if they know they were raised right and things are not looking right on the outside. They're going to keep calling. No matter what you put them through, they put you through. If they know that home is right, they're going to keep calling and try to get some knowledge. Okay? And that's just the facts. Okay? I hear from my kids. I may not hear from my kids for maybe a month. Then all of a sudden, there's a shift. And I'm hearing from all of them back to back. And I'm like, okay, y'all overwhelming me with this nonsense. It's not nonsense, though, for real. But they're calling because they want information. And I'm like, okay, but did y'all consult each other and say, okay, we're going to bother mommy this month. And we're going to call her every other day asking questions. That's why I said nonsense. Because I'm like, okay, I think they done got together. And we calling mommy and harass her about the information we need. That's the way I be feeling. But I don't think that be the case. But that's the way I be feeling because I get overwhelmed. But that's the life of being a parent. Okay? It don't stop. Okay? Even once they leave the nest. Okay? And that's the beauty of being a human being versus an animal. Because an animal, once they kids leave the nest, they may not never see them again. But when our kids leave the nest, they always come back to either visit or learn something or inquire about something. This is just what it is. Being a parent is not an easy job. And I was going to tell y'all about this couple I met. I forgot. I met this couple, young couple, and they was out shopping. They're kind of people like myself, work out, eat healthy, into organic. They were vegans. And, of course, I introduced them to my products. However, they was telling me how they were being stereotyped by their family members. Kind of pissed me off, and I'm getting sick of you people, especially you old people, that stereotyping people for wanting to live. Okay? If you choose, and I had to explain this to someone yesterday, we only crave meat because our people introduced us to that. Okay? So, for people to stereotype the next person because they don't eat meat, it's something wrong with you, not them. Because you were told, not that you were shown the facts, You were told that you need this amount of food on your plates. You need your starch, your vegetable, your meats. But instead of them telling you that those same vitamins you can get from other foods, they didn't tell you that. And that's America's fault. They didn't realize that they have to break things down to the T, because some people just don't comprehend the way others do. Okay? So when the government made that, and that was made by the government to allow people to understand how they must feed themselves and feed their families, they didn't break it down to say how much of the protein you need, and you can get protein in other foods. You don't have to physically eat the meat itself. You can eat something in place of the meat that has the same amount of protein. Okay? Some people choose to do the research and gain the knowledge. Okay? These people did that as a couple. Okay? With their baby. They said, okay, we don't want our kid eating this. We don't want our kid doing this. We don't want our kid doing that. And the young lady told me she breastfeeds. I was so proud of them, just standing there looking at them. And it was like like God sent me in just to give them reassurance that they're doing the right thing. Because the girl, she just kept staring at me, and she was like, oh my God. She said, God did this right now. God put us in this place at the same time. And I said, sometimes that's what God does, to give you the reassurance that you're doing the right thing while people are stereotyping you. Just because your family taught you their way, don't mean you have to live their way. You don't have to do it. You have a choice. Okay, people, and that's what y'all need to understand. Granted, yeah, we do follow traditions. Just like myself. My people were big on Thanksgiving. They were very big on Thanksgiving. Having all this food. And we eat and we have a good time. But they're all dead. Every single one of them. They used to cook up all that food and put it at the table for us to eat. Every one of them is dead. So that meant something to me. That told me that I need to do my research in order to learn how to live longer. Because they all dead. So I say that to say, like Thanksgiving, I hold a tradition, but I found ways to minimize some of the things that they used to put in the food. For them to get sick, I use some different ingredients to help make the food better. And quiet as kept, that's the only time I have that food. It's on Thanksgiving. I don't do that every Sunday. I have to have the macaroni and cheese and the collard greens. No, I don't do that. Why? Because my people used to do that, and they're all dead, once again. So I told myself I'm not going to follow that tradition of having a big Sunday meal every Sunday. And I used to do it up until my mother passed away, which was 10 years ago, this February. Okay? I said, nope, not doing it. Because my son came to me and said, Mommy, can you please just live? It sounded real crazy to me. And I said, you know what, son, I got you. I'm going to fight. I'm going to do my research. I'm going to try to eat good and, do my exercise. I laughed at when my son put in one of his songs, we'd rather watch you work out. I laugh at it, every time I hear it, because that's what he'd rather see. He'd rather see his mom work out, because he know if I work out, that I'm going to stay in good health. So I do what I can, and it's a choice. I could be like the rest of these old people and sit in the bed, come home from work, lay in the bed all day, go out to eat, go home and go to sleep and gain weight and let the arteries slow down. Yeah, I could be like them. But I choose not to. It's a choice. I could be that person that's making that food every Sunday and eating it. And on high blood pressure medication and high cholesterol medication and whatever else, diabetes, okay? I can be that one, but it's a choice, okay? Don't tell me about, oh, well, it's in my DNA. My mama got high blood pressure. My father got high blood pressure. This person got this person got that. This is why I'm sick. No, it was a choice. Because if you knew that your people had that problem, then you should have made a way in your life and ask questions and seek the do the research and seek the knowledge on what you can do so you don't be like them. And that's what I did. My father had high blood pressure and hypertension. My mother as well. My grandmother passed away with, and it's on my father's side, with diabetes. And it ran heavy in his family because his brother had it as well. So I did my research. It's a choice. I said I won't be like them. It's a choice, and I'm thankful that I'm not saying that I'm thankful that they're gone, because I'm not. I wish they were here with me still, but by them dying from these different issues, it showed me why I needed to do the research, because my destination could be death sooner than I think, because of not knowing. This is why I tell people, make sure you let your family members know what illnesses are in their family, so they can fight it before it even comes to be a thing in their life. Okay? Just like my daughter's grandfather, he had diabetes. So we know there's certain things that my daughter can't have. She can't have too much of. Because she even had a taste of diabetes as a child. So there's certain things I have to keep her from. It's in the blood. And this is why we must know everything about a person before we make these babies. What kind of illnesses is in your family? I need to know if I want to fight that battle, if my child gets it. It's not being funny acting, or you're just concerned about what type of child you could possibly bring into this world, and they may suffer from. It's a lot to having kids, people. And it's a lot that we need to think about, and we need to teach them. That's a podcast for another day. However, this podcast is about gun violence. There is concealed videos online that y'all can look at, so y'all understand some of the laws. They don't give everything. This is why you have to go to the classes. This is why it was designed to be a class, because it's paid information. It's a choice. Get the knowledge that you need before you bring a gun into your home around your children and their friends, and understand what you need to do to keep them safe and be safe at the same time. We have to learn to do things the proper way. That's one of the other problems. Everybody wants to break the rules. Sometimes, we do break the rules sometimes. Oh, I knew I shouldn't have did that, but I'm going to try not to do it again. But if you just set in your mind that this is who you are and I'm going to break these rules every time, like I said, nobody's perfect. Even the police officers are not perfect. They break the rules too. I had to, check a couple of years ago, like, okay, if you doing that, you can't go and tell somebody else that's not out of uniform to respect you if you doing it too. We have to lead by example. So everything comes with practice. Everything comes with practice. That's how we become experienced. Just like me. I've been in sales for over 20 years now. At first, it was like a foreign thing to me. But now, after 20 years later, it's easy because I'm experienced. The same with the laws. And laws change. So you got to keep up on it as well. You ever been at a job and you come in and they be like, okay, well, on this day, this is going to change. This is why we're supposed to keep up with our state laws, the politics, and, some people, I don't want to be bothered with politics. You don't have to be bothered with it, but you need to know what kind of laws they're changing and know when to Google it up to see if you right or wrong. And stop living like zombies. Oh, you just walking around, okay, this is the way I'm supposed to live. No, that's not the way you're supposed to live because there's rules and laws and things going on. And then when things happen, you're sitting like, oh, I didn't know this was going to happen. It's like people saying to me, we was outside, talking to different people, and they're like, oh, we didn't know that a war was going to break out. Why didn't you know? It's history. We told you it was coming. Just like we told you the COVID was coming. But you wasn't listening. You wasn't paying attention. You was walking around like a zombie. The same with laws. Listen. Research is simple, people. Don't make things harder than what it is. Because that's what y'all do. And then y'all want to cry and complain. And then when people tell you, you want to, oh, I don't need that information because that's not me. Okay. You better go read the fine print. Because when it becomes you, don't say we didn't tell you. We're trying to save you from hurt. Everything is not being hated on. Some things is because we're trying to teach you the facts. I notice like Mcfly, he gets a lot of that. Oh, they say, oh, he's a hater. He's this and he's, they be calling him everything. And I'm saying to myself, if they only knew what they had, they would embrace that knowledge and hold on to it. But of course, you always got to have the fighters. I don't like that person. Why? Because they're smarter than me. That's the reality of it. Instead of saying, you know what? I want to hang with this person because they know something. They know some things. And you always need to be around people that know more than you. Okay? And that same person that may know more than you may be able to teach them things too, because everybody lives different type of lives and been through different things and have different testimonies. So even though a person may seem like they smarter than you and they can teach you things, don't mean that you can't teach them things as well. So there's no need to be jealous and hateful, and because we all out here on the same struggle, trying to survive. That's just what it is. And people need to start to receive that mentally, open up their minds and receive that. This is why we're trying to teach y'all about relaxing, teaching y'all about meditation, so you can open your mind and see what's really going on. Because y'all people are hindering yourselves. Because y'all can't see. You're not understanding, comprehending. Knowledge is important. If a person tell me They done been through something. I want to know why. Why did you go through that? Okay. And thanks for the info. Now I'm going to go home and do some research. Well, this is what I found when I did the research. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to be hungry for knowledge. Even when you're old. Because I've met some old people. Let me tell y'all something. I know more old people that's... I don't like calling people dumb. I gotta learn to rephrase stuff sometime. I've met the older generation. The generation before mine, my generation, and the generation after mine. Okay? Some of these people is just as uneducated, and I'm not talking about going to school educated, life education. Because they've been walking around like zombies for the last 40, 50 years. And you have to shake your head at them like, you haven't learned anything. Like, how, I be saying, in my brains, how stupid can you be? That you haven't picked up a book or did your research on what's going on out here. Because it comes to a point you have to be, what's the word? I'm looking for it. You have to be accountable for not knowing certain things. You just have to be, because at this point, you're older. I was talking to this guy yesterday. I talked to so many people yesterday, it was unreal. He was a veteran, okay? And once I tell y'all this story, I'm going to let it go. I was talking to a veteran yesterday. He was with his child, and he was just telling me he don't like organic stuff. And I said, why? He couldn't give me an answer, right? So he said, you older guy, I just don't like it, okay? You stuck in your ways, okay? And see, my products, can be for the older generation, but my products is for the youth, because the youth are organic. They're coming up organic. I ran into a young fella yesterday at Walmart. I'm going to get back to the story. Ran into a young fella at Walmart. He had it on his shirt. Organic. In other words, I'm organic. My body is pure. That's what he's telling you. I don't have those toxins that y'all have. Okay? So, getting back to this older fella. Now, he's from the military. Now, granted, we go into these other countries and contract all these different, and I think I talked about it on podcast yesterday or the day before, how they go into these countries and get these bacterias and bring these bacterias back over here. We don't know if they're contagious. Sometimes they deteriorate the body, they deteriorate the mind, deteriorate the organs, or you just could be a carrier of these toxins. And then you run around after you came from all these different countries, because in every country, the heat and the climates are different. So different bacteria grow different ways. Okay, so when it's over there, it may grow slowly. You contracted it, and then now you come over here, and it grows fast. Because the environment. Some areas rain more. Some bacteria need water. Some need heat. The same with plants. You can't grow plants in certain areas. The same with the growth of bacteria. All of this is common sense science. Okay, we learned this all in school, in elementary school. Why is it these people don't get it? Okay, same with foods that come from other countries. Then we have these different pesticides that don't supposed to be in our bodies. But we constantly putting it in our bodies and then saying, Why is it we have cancer? Why is it we have this? Why do we have that? Why? Because you won't change your eating habits. You won't change the way you're teaching your people. And they're spreading that out here to other people. And other people. And other people. I had to tell some people yesterday. They was buying some salmon. And they was looking. And they ain't know what to buy. They just know that salmon is good for the heart. So I'm laughing, because they looking like, well, which one? Which one? And I said, get the ones with no antibiotics. And they looked at me. Antibiotics is supposed to be good. That's what they thinking. But antibiotics kill stuff. Yeah, but a bunch of antibiotics also break down your immune system. To where you can't fight off anything because you need an antibiotic. So why would you get food with antibiotics in it? That's the difference of organic and non-organic. It wasn't treated. It was grown naturally. Okay? And they have to put a lot of work into it. The reason why they start using antibiotics and all these different things is because it's sped up the process. They could do less work to get the product out there. They throw some antibiotics in there and keep the bacterias, that way we ain't got to clean it and care for it as much. Everybody wants to do everything the fast way. So, give it to them. Because we ain't got time to watch that because we got 20 pools of fish that we got to watch. And we need to get this fish out of here, grown and out of here in a certain amount of time. Instead of us hiring the people that we need to get out there and take care of this water and these fish every single day, every single moment, making sure the temperatures is correct, making sure everything is the way it's supposed to be so it can grow properly. Without all of this extra. We get it. This is why we pay the money for the organic. They worked hard to make sure that stuff was grown properly. Every single day. Versus those that, I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut this time and I'm going to do this. I don't care if it hurt the people. It's not my problem. They're going to buy it anyway. Because they're hungry. But getting back to the lady and the man, they turned around and looked at me like, oh, okay. And looked back down at the fish and I kept it moving. I just wanted to be a whisper in their ear. Think. Now it's time for you to think. I'm not going to tell you which one to buy, but I'm going to tell you what antibiotics do to the body. It breaks down the immune system. And I kept it moving. I'm just a whisper in the ear. So anyway, getting back to the man from the army, I was laughing at him. I told his son, I said, teacher. He was like, oh, he ain't teaching me nothing. I'm going to teach him. And I started laughing. But I walked away, and in my mind what I was saying. Your generation already messed up our children. And you want to talk about you're going to teach another generation something? I don't think so. Young man, teach him. And I kept it moving. Y'all already messed up these generations by not teaching them anything. All y'all want to teach these kids is about women and money. That's it. That's all the generations know. But they know nothing else. They don't know how to start businesses. They don't know how to keep things going. They don't know how to survive if things got rough. They don't know anything. And then you got people like myself, people like Mcfly, and a lot of the rappers and teachers, period, in general. We're all teachers. To help teach what y'all was lacked of. So don't knock someone for trying to help your child because you lacked teaching them of it. That was your responsibility. But we don't want to see our kind walk around looking stupid. And that's the biggest problem in the world today. Everybody looks stupid. This country prepared you people 10 years ago. They gave y'all a whole decade to get ready for what was getting to go down now. A whole decade. And y'all still ain't get it right. So what did I tell you? The generation that's raising these people was stupid. I just got to give it to y'all like that because I can't. It's hard for me to define stupid and dummies in another way. And that's just the facts. They gave y'all a whole decade. And then you got people like us that's still teaching. Because we want to see, and they sitting back laughing because we told these dummies. Told y'all they wasn't going to get it right. Because they all zombies. You got other countries making fun of us. Because this is how we look, like zombies. We walking around like all we know is shop. And pay bills. Don't pay attention to nothing else. People, let me tell you something. It's funny, I watched like the last presidency. Nobody paid attention to politics until it was time to vote for a president. Okay? They didn't pay attention what Trump was doing. I'm just using Trump, this presidency, this last one. They wasn't paying attention to nothing he was doing. Not a thing. All they knew, he was a Republican and he shouldn't be in office. That's all they knew. Quiet as kept. He was a Republican in a democratic world. So who was he really working for? But they wasn't paying attention. So now they got Biden. And they're like, damn, we put this man in office. Well, we tried to tell you. We tried to tell you. But y'all wanted to, oh, well, you a Trump supporter, so we're not talking to you. You want to stereotype. But you wasn't paying attention. You just wanted to be a follower of others that didn't even have the knowledge because they wasn't paying attention. And that's just the facts. And now people are sitting back crying. Because they can't survive. I went to the store and tried to buy food and it was like, I couldn't get much of nothing. Yeah, I understand. They told y'all it was going to happen. They told y'all. You got some people that was prepared. And you got some people that just wasn't paying attention at all. But don't knock those and stereotype those that were prepared. I have a friend of mine. I have to laugh at him. He's coming out. Looking in my cabinets, looking in my refrigerator, looking in my freezer. Well, no, they ain't really looking in the freezer, but this is, looking around. Ain't nothing changed. My cabinets are not empty. Because I've been preparing. Because I was taught to prepare 10 years ago. They prep us for everything that's about to go down. But y'all wouldn't know it because y'all don't pay attention. And then you got people like myself that continue to try to teach y'all. But I'm at the point where I'm done trying to teach. And to those that I know for a fact want the knowledge. Like when I go out and I call it the field. And I talk to people, you could tell those that want the knowledge. Yesterday, I stood and talked with so many people for hours. Because they wanted to know so much. And I had to break it down to them. And not only just about my products, about other stuff. They did not want to let me go. And then I'm like, I got to go. And then it was funny because my little Egypt, she'd be like, Mom, come on. But she was occupying her time. Because she knew that they needed to know. Mommy, teach them. I'll find something to do while you teaching them. This is Jacqueline Richardson, Miss JJ Diamond, Jackie Deja, whatever y'all call me. I love you all. And if I see y'all out in Charlotte and y'all want some knowledge, don't hesitate to stop and ask me because I'll give it to you. I love y'all. Y'all take care.